Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Sworn in as the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden wastes no time reversing several policies of the Trump administration.
A tragic accident in Macomb County.
I'm a mom. I can't imagine that.
Tonight, a good Samaritan on how she helped a 12-year-old boy who survived the crash but lost his father and twin sister.
But we begin with breaking news. Former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick embracing family as a free man for the first time in more than 7 years. The former mayor's release comes just hours after his 28-year sentence was commuted by President Trump right before leaving office.
New video tonight shows him reuniting with the family in Georgia. Jason Colthorpe following this. Jason, it sounds like they had an inkling this was coming.
Yeah, they did, Devin. Sherry Gay Danyogo, who's worked with a member of the Trump administration for the last year on this, knew earlier this week, but they've all heard this story before, right? So this time, they all stayed quiet, hopeful, and prayed that it would come true this time.
That's the man right there. That's the man right there.
After almost 8 years behind bars, former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick walked free from Oakdale Federal Prison in Louisiana today and arrived in Georgia to meet family.
We done made it happen, man.
A member of Kilpatrick's family posted this video on Facebook. It appears to be Kwame hugging two of his sons and his sister after arriving at the airport in Atlanta.
Yeah, hey, Lon. Yeah.
I saw a boatload of text messages and calls, and so I knew it had happened, and I was just overwhelmed.
Former state representative Sherry Gay Danyogo has been waiting years for this day. She helped push the effort forward last February when she personally delivered a letter to President Trump asking for clemency.
If you're connected to the city of Detroit, if you understand the people of the city of Detroit, you understand that people feel like, number one, his sentence was excessive to begin with. He paid a debt to society. He served 7 years. Already close to 8 years, being away from his family, being away from his mother.
Kilpatrick was not pardoned, which means he still has millions of dollars in restitution to pay back as he restarts his life as a free man sooner than expected.
While he may not be able to run for office in the city of Detroit or the state of Michigan, I understand that he could possibly run for, federal office one day. But in addition to that, I mean, he could lead amazing work for criminal justice reform. I believe Kwame Kilpatrick will be an excellent example of redemption and grace.
Now, Gay Danyogo thinks that one of the first things Kwame Kilpatrick is going to do is kind of what you saw there in those videos, in those pictures, and that is spend time with his family down in Georgia. Devin?
And Jason, though, I think what a lot of people are wondering is what and where Kwame Kilpatrick will be headed next and whether it might include Detroit. What are you hearing?
We haven't heard anything about that, but we might be able to get the answer from the man himself. I am hearing that he's willing to talk to the media very soon, so stay tuned.
Yeah, you bet. All right, Jason, we've got much more on the Kilpatrick commutation on clickondetroit.com, including a timeline of his rise and fall, a look at where the key people in Kwame's life and career are now. You'll find it all on the homepage.
Well, it was a busy first day on the job for President Joe Biden, who is already at work.
President Biden reversing the policies of President Trump, including the controversial travel ban from several Muslim-majority countries. Alice Barr in Washington with a wrap-up of a historic Inauguration Day.
Tonight, a celebration for President Joe Biden. In the time of COVID, a virtual program mixing entertainment with recognition of the solemn challenge facing the new commander-in-chief to unite a country torn apart by a raging pandemic and toxic political divisions.
America's story depends not on any one of us, not on some of us, but on all of us. On we the people.
Vice President Kamala Harris taking her place in history as the first woman and the first Black and Indian American in that role.
Even in dark times, we not only dream, we do. We not only see what has been, we see what can be.
President Biden wasting no time getting down to work, signing more than a dozen executive orders, ranging from climate change to mask wearing, unveiling a sweeping immigration reform bill, and setting the tone for his administration while swearing in staffers.
Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity. That's been missing in a big way the last 4 years.
Earlier today, the new president taking the oath of office and vowing to lead all Americans forward together.
We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue.
Standing in the very spot where a violent mob tried to derail democracy at the U.S. Capitol, President Biden directly condemned white supremacy and promised to fight the insidious enemy of misinformation.
To defend the truth and defeat the lies.
Tonight, a new first family settling into the White House after a day of rituals, symbolism, and even some bipartisan unity. President Biden now begins the task of turning his words into action to heal a nation in crisis. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And tonight, local lawmakers are reacting to President Biden ending the travel ban from several Muslim-majority countries.
Congresswoman Debbie Dingell releasing a statement saying the former president's ban destroyed lives, caused untold damage to the security of the United States, and didn't protect Americans from terrorist attacks. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib also praising the decision through a statement reading the Muslim and African ban was not based on any legitimate concern, but instead was rooted in the hate that we must continue to adamantly reject in order for this country to move forward. Of course, the ban was one of President Trump's first big policy moves and was quickly referred to as the Muslim ban by immigrant advocates who, when it went into effect back in January of 2017. Well, it was a violent crash that killed a Macomb County father and his 12-year-old daughter.
Tonight, we are hearing from a Good Samaritan who witnessed what happened and stepped in to help the 12-year-old boy who survived that crash. Priya Mann has a story from Shelby Township.
Several people rushed to help the crash victims, including Karen Hartley, who was parked at this CVS Tuesday night. Now, she was too emotional to talk to us, but says the second she spotted that 12-year-old boy, she rushed to his side.
And I just didn't want him to see all that. I just didn't want him to see.
Karen Hartley didn't want to talk on camera, but says while a nurse performed CPR on the boy's father and with his twin sister not far away, she used her own body to shield him from the wreckage.
There was nobody there with him. He was talking a little bit. He was just crying. He was just crying, and he kept putting his head down on me.
She was parked in her car when the crash happened at 21 Mile and Van Dyke in Shelby Township.
It was just a boom. It was like, it was loud. And there was 4 men that ran to the truck and they started pulling the kids out. And then those men ran out there and they grabbed the father.
The 45-year-old Macomb Township man and his 12-year-old daughter died.
And I can't imagine what that mom's going through. I can't imagine getting that phone call. I can't imagine losing my husband and losing my child. I just want to hug her. I feel so bad for her.
Karen says the driver of the utility truck was devastated.
He was just sobbing, and I walked over to him and gave him a hug.
The 12-year-old boy had serious injuries but survived the horrific crash that killed his dad and twin sister.
If that was my child there, I would hope someone would do that for my child. I couldn't sleep last night at all. Every time I closed my eyes, I could just see the kids' faces. I could see the father's faces. Yeah, I just couldn't sleep.
Karen says this is something that she will never forget and that her heart, of course, goes out to the family. The driver of that utility truck was not injured. Shelby Township Police aren't investigating if weather may have played a role here or who may have been at fault. Reporting live tonight, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, Priya, thank you.
A 5-year-old boy is shot and killed on Detroit's west side, and police say the shooter was his 18-month-old cousin. It happened around 9:30 this morning inside a home on Sturdivant Street, just west of the lodge. Police believe the toddler found a loaded gun in the home and accidentally shot the 5-year-old, who later died at the hospital. The father of the 5-year-old has been arrested. We await word on whether charges are going to be filed. Well, let's get back to President Biden and his first day in office because he used it to sign executive orders aimed at trying to end the pandemic.
The orders appoint a new COVID response manager and enact a mask mandate at federal buildings. Amazon has offered to help the Biden administration distribute vaccines. Tonight, researchers say recent COVID mutations may make the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines less effective, but the vaccines still protect people from the virus. In Michigan, the state reports 2,031 new cases and 40 more deaths today. Still ahead, a local gas station selling gasoline for cheaper than 50 cents a gallon.
It's a deal. We'll let you know where and how long that will last as we check in with Ben.
Well, our highs tomorrow, guys, probably won't get to 50, but we're going to see a big improvement over what we had today, and it's our warmest of the forecast. We'll look at that and the changes we're expecting for the weekend coming up.
All right, Ben, but first, a Michigan man arrested in connection with the insurrection at the Capitol, how the FBI tracked him down, and the charges he now faces.